Good morning. How are you doing today? This is Pranav from dbsdirect.com. Today we are going to talk about index creation and how to have the minimum impact on your data movement or on the activities on production. Okay, so let's start with that. Okay, so in earlier videos we talked about backup, restoration, maintenance, job, and also we covered a bit of how to create an index, how to design an index based on certain query that has been provided to you. So today we are going to talk about creating index. I mean that's a process, and how to have the minimum impact on your data or on the access to that data, right? So before we get into that, there are two types of index. You know that one is clustered and other one is non-clustered. So you can have only one index which is clustered on a table, whereas you can have multiple index which is non-clustered. Okay, so clustered index is basically something which does the sorting of data physically on the disk. Okay, that's why you can have only one clustered index. Whereas non-clustered index is something which is not to do anything with the data sorting physically. Okay, but the leaf page of the non-clustered index contains the pointer to data page. Okay, so with this NC index, non-clustered index, your operations can be faster. Your select operation will be faster. However, you also need to understand that these are copies of the data. Okay, so the leaf page. So in that way, when you do insert, update or delete, this will slow down these operations. Okay, so you need to understand that how to design the index, which all columns should be there. So all the hot columns should not be part of NC index because they are the ones which keeps on changing. So you can say, for example, last update date or last access date. Okay, so these columns should be avoided. So to design index properly in that way. Okay, so when you create index, when you don't specify clustered or non-clustered, that means creating index means it will create non-clustered index itself. It will not create the clustered index. Okay, you can also create unique indexes. So when you create index without specifying online or any other parameter, what will it do? It will create the index, but at that time you will not be able to access data from the table because it will lock the table, right? Now this is vaguely speaking, but then depends which all columns are part of the index, and then the select query that you are running contains which all columns. Basically what I have seen, or ideally generally what I have seen is when people run the query they run select star. So that's why I said it locks the table, but actually it's not the case. Now, when you create an index with online, this is a new feature which has come from SP100 15.7, I guess. Okay. So, Sybase ASE 15.7 from SP100, you have the option when you create the index online. So, this should be considered on the hot table. Hot table means what? The table which are accessed very frequently. Now, this can also mean the table which are updated or inserted or deleted very frequently. Deletion is not that much. Should not be done that much. Again, it depends on the application. So the columns which are updated, or the table which is inserted, or the data from the table which is deleted. So on these tables, I assume that the locking mechanism on this table is not all pages. It must be data page or data rows, because all page locking mechanism is different, and we'll not talk about that. Since I'm saying hot table, that means I'm assuming that the locking is data page or data rows. There is difference in data page and data rows. When should we choose which of them? I will have a separate video for that. Okay, we'll discuss on that. So in this particular case, when you do not have all page locking mechanism, and when you create an index without online, so at that point of time you will not be able to select any of the column which are part of the index. right? Okay, now the second option, where when you create an index with online. So when you create index with online, in that case, what happens is it will allow you to perform select statement on your table. Now, I'm not talking about with isolation level 0. I'm talking about without specifying any isolation level. That means it's a default level. So that time you can perform select operation. How about the insert operation, update operation, and delete operation? Now, I am again assuming that the table is big in size and the index that you are creating is also considerably big. I mean, it contains more than 5-6 columns, having data type which is little bit you can say big in size. So creating index is taking almost 4 to 5 minutes. This is what is my assumption for this particular index creation. So when you do that without online, this will be faster, but when you do with online, this will be a little bit slower. However, when you do this index online, that time you would be able to perform your select operation without any issues. When you do insert, update or delete in a time bound manner, like it is a transaction which is coming from user side, user transaction, okay, and then it has specific timer. It will be there at your engine only for a certain number of seconds, and if it doesn't get the result, it will time out. Okay, it will not perform what it was supposed to perform. So in that case, these all operations will mostly fail. Okay, why will that be the case? Because what does Sybase ASE do? It does these all operation put into logical synchronization phase. It doesn't commit immediately. Okay, but then your user transaction or the application which was looking for data, which was trying to update something or trying to perform some insert operation, that has a timer fix. Okay, so since it is having logical synchronization phase, it will fail with the error 8233, I guess so, yeah, 8233, specifying that create index online is in progress. Now, this is something which you cannot reproduce in test environment or UAT environment unless you have a very high load of users transaction. I actually tried that in the test and it succeeded because the index creation goes page by page, and when you are doing update, there is possibility that your update query or the other query has finished before creating index reached to that page, okay, or it happened after that. That's why you did not really encounter that issue. But it is very likely that you will face this issue in production because you will have so many transactions which will be running, and as I said, it's a hot table, so this will always be used, right? And then it will always try to perform update or insert or delete. We cannot produce that kind of load in test. I mean, it's very difficult. You can do that. However, you need to have that many users to perform the thing. Alternatively, you can create this scenario when you do an update or insert. Update you do for those key columns having no where clause. In that particular case, you open multiple session and then you do update, like you have 5 columns which you are putting as a part of index with online, and then you try to update these all 5 columns in 5 sessions, okay, without any where clause, right? And then one of them, you don't commit them, just start like begin run and just see how it goes, and in the separate window you open and index creation online, and then I guess you would be able to do that, because I did try this multiple times and only 1 or 2 times I was able to see this issue, to face exact the same thing. Otherwise it generally passes. Okay, so when the table is big, index size is big, then you are doing index creation online, so you can catch this in the test environment. However, in production, most likely you will face this issue. So index creation online is a good tool for giving access to the data, to users, but not for hot tables, not for table which are updated very frequently or inserted very frequently, or any DML operation is performed. Now we will take the second case. Sorry. In the second case, when there is a hot table but not for DML, only for select operation. There is you can have a static table which is really large in size, and then it is very frequently used for doing VLOOKUP or lookup or other type of operation, wherein you don't change the data very frequently but you access it very frequently. So in that case, create index with online is very good. But if you do create index, then this will start causing blocking. So it is a good thing, but it's not at its face value. I mean, if you see, you just see the document create index online, you could feel that we can create the index online without having any impact on the data or no DML operation. So that's not the case. You have an impact because it goes for logical synchronization phase, okay, and then it also has some constraint. When you are creating index online, you must have a index which is unique, or if you have primary key as a cluster, then that's very good. Okay, then this also should have round robin algorithm there for the partitioning and all. So there are some constraints on that, but then still create index online is much better than create index. But if you are doing in test, then it doesn't matter because create index will be faster than create index online. So in case of production, you still need to plan it. You still need to plan on those tables which are hot table, which takes insert, update, delete operation very frequently. So you should do it when there are less number of operations. And then if you do partitioning of the table, even that will be very helpful. Partitioning, we'll talk about that later. Okay. Ideally, it is advised that the table should be on one partition. However, the index should be on separate partitions on a physical, when the devices are on the physical disk separately. So that way the operation will be faster. Okay. So that should be all for today's video. If you liked it, please comment and subscribe to my channel. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you.